Hey everyone, Skull902 back here for Yoshi's Island. This is part 4, and we're going to be going through the second half of World 2, so, exciting stuff, I'm sure. Now, this is the fourth part, and this is, like, around the right time, where I would, like, start apologizing for things that I got wrong in commentary and whatnot, and, I actually did do me some research and whatnot. Also, that was a stupid-ass hit that I took from the shell, but there was some research that I did before recording this part. Like, I watched a few videos and whatnot yesterday to get some topics to have a discussion about here in this here part. So I've got to make some corrections. And I shall do that right now. So there is some stuff that I missed out on, such as that rumor about what Miyamoto said about Donkey Kong Country, or at least the rumor that this game's art style was inspired by like some corporate demand from Nintendo. Again, that was totally made up, and apparently it was first published in a book called The Ultimate History of Video Games. That was released in 2001. So that's where that whole rumor started off with. And then we've got fuzzies. And I honestly, like, I completely skimmed over the whole gimmick of touch fuzzy, get dizzy. In Super Mario World, fuzzies are like just little black fuzzballs that go around like loops and whatnot. They're a regular enemy, but they don't really do much. In this game, they, much like blargs, actually, are very much changed. In this game, they're like big white orbs that float around 3 levels in the game. We've gone through one of them, of course. And as the level's name implies, if you touch them, then Yoshi will temporarily go into this, like, basically drugged state, where, like, the music gets all weird, the visuals all wave around, and there's, like, a big old color shift and everything. The music slows down and gets very weird. And your controls aren't, quite as stable, I guess you would say, because, like, Yoshi will stumble and whatnot on his own when the level design, like, shifts a certain way and whatnot. So, like, you're still in mostly full control of Yoshi's actions, but there are certain situations where he will just, like, go off by himself. In the first one, it's not so bad because there isn't any bottomless pits or much danger in those sections. I think they're just getting you used to the 2 that happen later. And they do progressively get more dangerous. Like, the one in World 4, it's kind of perilous. And then the one in World 6 is like, yeah, you've got to be, like, really careful or else you're fucked. So, that's the gimmick of the fuzzies in this game and the levels that they are in. And while I was doing my research, I learned a couple of fun trivia things. One of which was the German name for the level. I said that he was basically in a drugged state when he touches the fuzzies. Whether or not they meant it as a drug reference, I am not sure at all. But the Germans sure thought that, that it was, because the name in German of that level is Lustiges Sporendrama, which, if I have any regular German viewers, I'm sure that they are ashamed to be fans of mine right now. But that, when initialized, stands for LSD. Or rather, it makes LSD as a initialism. So, yeah, I thought that that was particularly amusing, pretty fun. So, yeah. The next up thing is Bert the Bashful. We saw him. He was the mini-boss in the first fortress. And I didn't really think about this or know it too terribly much. That was a weird way of putting it. But there is like this French series. It's called Asterisk and Obelisk. And Bert the Bashful resembles Obelisk a fair bit. Again, probably not intentional, I think, but the French translators, they fucking thought so too, and actually the German ones did as well. The name for that boss in both the French and German language versions of the game make a reference to it. I believe the German one is just like obelisk backwards. And then in French, it's an anagram. So that's pretty neato. Speaking of bosses as well, I should give some more respect to the ones that we've seen thus far in the LP. And actually, like, you know, give the proper names for them. Last time, the boss was literally just called Bigger Boo. And I did, like, properly explain the boss battle as well. But then, before him, in part 2, to end the first world, we had Salvo the Slime is the name of that boss. And I didn't really get too much into the boss fight either. So I'll try to explain it a little better. Like, Salvo the Slime, you have to throw the eggs and basically ricochet them in order to hit him. So you can directly hit him and, you know, be fine, but like, you'll have to rely on the little slimes that come about to restock your eggs. So, like, I guess it's not entirely necessary to ricochet the eggs, but it is very helpful to do so. So that's basically, like, the whole function of that boss fight right there, is, you know, throw the eggs at him, and it's much better to ricochet than to just try and do it, like, one at a time. So I hope that you're good at bouncing them off the walls. So, yeah. Salvo the Slime actually does come back a couple times. And gets progressively tougher, surprisingly. Each time that he does in World 6. So we'll see that later. And I'll just say that I didn't look forward to facing them when I did. So yeah. That just about covers the stuff that I've missed out on so far. Again, apologies for any neglectful commentary, I suppose. I didn't mean it. I'm trying my best. Speaking of commentary and just like the general trivia stuff that I found out, like. I'm fairly certain I knew this before, but, you know, it's a nice little piece to mention, of course. This game obviously stars Yoshi, so let's talk about him a little tiny bit. Some fun fact that re-entered my consciousness, which is, again, a very weird way of putting it, was I saw an interview with, like, the developers of Super Mario World and Yoshi's Island, which is also where the whole thing about, like, them fighting back in terms of the graphical style comes from. But Takashi Tezuka was a part of it, and one of the things that he said was that, like, when Yoshi was designed, the initial idea was to make him not like a Koopa, but something kind of like a Koopa. You know, they wanted to base his design on turtles. So what I think is officially now a saddle, and what people saw as a saddle on his back, was actually meant to be a shell, which, oh yeah, this bonus game here, if I didn't mention it before, I think this is the first time it's shown up. This is the slot machine. It fucking sucks. I don't think I've ever won anything from this. The timing, like, the fucking slots just go off way too fast for me. Because I'm an idiot. So, I don't know if there is, like, any particular timing that you can do in the slot machines or anything. I just suck at it. Oh yeah, Big Shy Guys, they debut in this level, and, I don't think they're around too often. In fact, this might be the only place, no, I think that you can get them later. But, as you can see, if you swallow one, then you get a big-ass egg. And those ones are heavier, so Yoshi can't throw them as far, but, you know, if you do throw one, then it's a screen nuke. So, gets rid of all the enemies on screen. So that's pretty fucking nifty. You know, that sort of thing exists. It's another egg variation. I quite like that, but you know, back on this Yoshi trivia that I was trying to mention. You know, the idea again behind Yoshi was that he was a turtle, and that what's on his back there is a shell. I don't think that stuck, because again, like, if that's a shell, then, like, it's kind of a shitty shell. It doesn't provide much coverage, you know. So, again, that's just a bit of an interesting thing, though. Another thing is Yoshi's gender. And I'm gonna presume, like, the whole debate, question mark, about that concerns, like, the main Yoshi that we see, or perhaps Yoshi as a species. I'm not entirely sure. But the thing about that was, I saw this in, like, an interview with Miyamoto, or rather, it comes from an interview with Miyamoto, but it was in a Did You Know Gaming video. So, whatever. I'm rambling too much about this. But basically, the point that Miyamoto made is, like, that, like, he never found himself able to really answer that question to anybody who asked with a degree of satisfaction, I guess you could say. Because, like, if somebody would ask him that question, you know, is Yoshi a boy? Is Yoshi a girl? What's going on? And if he would answer one particular way, like, he gave the example, if he answered Yoshi's a girl, then whoever was asking would be like, oh, well, why does he sound like a boy then? And then if he answered the other way around, that Yoshi was a boy, then whoever was asking would be like, what, so a boy's laying eggs then? And then Miyamoto capped his comments off by saying that he doesn't really like focusing on that kind of shit. He just wants to make video games. Which I find amazing. You know, that, like, I believe his exact words were like, I'm not too terribly concerned about the backstory of the characters, which, you know, it would certainly explain some things, like, you know, how most Mario games don't really have too much of a plot, you know, outside of the RPGs, because, you know, in RPGs, it's kind of a prerequisite to have a plot and whatnot. But I don't know. I just found the whole thing kind of amusing. I think officially speaking, Yoshi's a boy, but also, you know, if you want to think that Yoshi's a girl, then that's your headcanon, and nobody should be able to tell you otherwise. Or rather, nobody, nobody should knock you for your headcanon, is what I'm trying to say. So yeah, some general Yoshi trivia. If there's anything else that comes up in between recording parts, then I'll try to mention it. But yeah, now that we're just about done with that, an interesting thing that I saw while doing this is a video that I believe I also watched to get some research done for the first Super Mario World commentary. But we have a new Yoshi vehicle. This is the car. And basically, you just ride around and you press and hold the jump button to extend the quote-unquote legs there. And letting go of the button will make him jump. So, yeah, that's a pretty neato, nifty thing. He doesn't come up too terribly often, but I find that it's pretty fun to control. But I like main Yoshi's controls even more, so that's why I decided to stop it after a bit. But yeah, there was a rather interesting video about like a tour of Nintendo during like the Super Nintendo era. It was conducted by what I'm going to presume is like some German television show, going back to the Germans. Because, like, you know, the narration was in German and whatnot. I don't need to explain that. But no, it was rather interesting, them going through Nintendo at, like, around the era that this game was being made. They interviewed an executive at the beginning who basically, like, described the history of the company, and gave off some interesting notes, like, when Nintendo was first founded, apparently, like, you know, people wanted them shut down because games weren't seen as virtuous, in an era when Confucianism was very rampant in Japan. So that was rather interesting to hear, and of course they went around into some more general trivia stuff, like how they transitioned into electronic games in the 60s and whatnot. So you know, that was some neato stuff to hear from him. But I think more interestingly were some topics about, like, the company's philosophy on certain things. For instance, they interviewed this game tester guy, and one of the things that he said in terms of like the pricing of Nintendo products was that at least in Japan, you know, or like generally speaking, they try to price things to make them you know, affordable, but like when it comes to consoles and games and stuff of that nature in Japan, like they try to base the price of their products off of what they believe to be the average allowance of a Japanese child. So that's an interesting philosophy to have, I think. I don't know what research they're doing to come to those conclusions, but, you know, whatever. And then another thing about their sort of philosophy and whatnot was demographics as well. The guy said that they don't really make games for any particular audience, which I would agree with that. It seems like Nintendo genuinely tries to make their games for everyone. So, you know, and I think that that's a good sort of thing to have too. You know, once Nintendo stopped all the censorship in the 90s, this is more so to do with the Western Nintendo branches, but you know, they let the third parties, you know, just do whatever, so long as it wasn't rated AO. and then they themselves could focus on, you know, making it a family experience. So, you know, good stuff. Good stuff there. But you know, this game tester guy, his section of the video was rather interesting because he was testing games that hadn't come out yet at the time that the interview was published. And what I think is so fucking cool about that is that he was playing games that, you know, were not only recognizable, but very relevant to this LP. Because he played an early version of Super Mario All-Stars. And he also played an early version of Star Fox, so that was pretty cool to see. The only thing that was rather confusing was that they tried to make it out to be like that Star Fox could be controlled with the Super Scope, which, as far as I know, is not true at all. He was playing a different game with the Super Scope, and I have no idea what game he was playing there. They also interviewed Miyamoto, and to do that, they had to go into the developer studio, and Nintendo was very secretive about, you know, what they wanted to show off. Like, they were only allowed in certain rooms of the developer studio, and they were forbidden from showing certain screens in order to prevent corporate espionage. So they were really fucking concerned about, you know, someone from another company taking their ideas. But they got to Miyamoto, and that's another thing that I need to correct myself on. Apparently, the hat that Mario wears, it wasn't like due to any limitations with the color palette in Donkey Kong. But apparently, like, you know, the big nose, the mustache, the hat, all those design choices were made in the interest of making Mario recognizable. So I was a bit off the mark there, as, you know, you should honestly expect me to be. But you know, I thought that was rather interesting. Some of his other talking points, I feel, were pretty neato as well, such as, like, you know, they asked him to compare Mario to Mickey Mouse, and Miyamoto said something along the lines of, you know, that the two characters were, you know, on different trajectories and whatnot. I think he was being very modest about, like, the whole situation was my takeaway from it. That, you know, he was basically like, well, you know, I don't know if Mario has become more recognizable than Mickey. I mean, Mickey's a fucking legend. And then the narrator of the interview was like, well, you know, maybe it would be more fair to compare Mario to Mickey Mouse after Mario turns 50, because Mickey was around, like, he was more than 50 at that point. So Mickey had been around for quite some time. Mario was still relatively new at that point. And then Miyamoto also talked about, like, Nintendo's corporate philosophy, which I thought was one of the more interesting things in the entire interview. And I've noticed that I've used the word interesting quite a bit in this part and others. But, you know, I already mentioned some of the things that, like, other people mentioned, but one of the questions posited to Miyamoto was about, like, the competition, basically, with other console makers, you know, for dominance in the market. And Miyamoto was more or less like, you know, we don't really see the competition as being between studios. You know, we're just video game makers. What we see the competition as is between the developers and the consumers, because the consumers are going to base what they like off of comparisons with you know, older stuff that they like. So if we can't deliver with our newer stuff, then we're failing the customers and whatnot. So we take it as a challenge when they say, you know, that you know, they like to game, but maybe not as much as something that we put out before and whatnot. So I thought that was rather fucking cool. You know, or, you know, a very interesting take on how the industry works. And I don't know if that is necessarily in contrast to, say, what Western developers would believe. But, again, like, I don't know. I just found that, like, really fucking intriguing. So, yeah. I'm gonna have to find this guy's name and say it in a future part. But here we got the end boss of World 2. He's not really too bad. I mean, it's the second world, for Christ's sake. He blows those fireballs, and they can be particularly annoying, but basically, like, you just gotta shove the Shy Guys off of there, and of course, if you shove one off but not the other, then the Shy Guys pushing the potted plant back will be slower. But, you know, you basically just gotta get rid of the Shy Guys, and while you're doing that, the ghost plant, like, spits fire and stuff at you. So, you know, he'll also try to knock you off of the ledge, which, I don't know if he did it when I was actually, like, properly recording, but he did it, I believe, in my practice run, so he can kind of catch you off guard if you're not ready. Because, like, when he shoves you back, it is a particularly far distance. But, you know, he's not too terribly annoying. Again, one of the bosses that I would put on the higher end in the boss selection in this game. But that'll do it for part 4. I'll see you guys in part 5. I've been Skull902. Thank you for watching, and have yourselves a wonderful day.